Good evening, Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao, together with the Presidential Communications Office.
We bring you the latest, widest, and most comprehensive news coverage from the People's Television, IBC, Philippine News Agency, Philippine Information Agency, and Presidential Broadcast Service, Radyo Pilipinas. I'm Princess Sabiba Saripaudak.
Welcome back, partner, and I'm Joe Fernandez on Radyo Pilipinas. Welcome to
Balitang Pambansa.
Tonight's headlines. Malacanang distances itself from the impeachment complaint filed against Vice President Sara Duterte, claiming the chief executive's statement on the issue was unambiguous. President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. says his administration is utilizing digitalization and people participation in addressing corruption. President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. underscores the importance of funds for responding to loss and damage to calamity-prone nations. President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. eyes to address the triple burden of malnutrition by promoting healthier food options and assisting local government units on nutrition spending. The Development Budget Coordination Committee expresses confidence the country can achieve the adjusted 6 to 6.5% economic growth target for this year. As far as the Marcos administration is concerned, it has nothing to do with the impeachment case filed against Vice President Sara Duterte, and says it is a move made by several groups from various sectors who want to hold the second highest government official of the land accountable. In fact, the president himself even earlier expressed his opposition and merely wanted to concentrate on improving the lives of Filipinos. PTV's Alan Francisco has more.
Statement of the president is unambiguous, na wala kaming kinalaman dyan, and we are not going to encourage that.
That is the response of Executive Secretary Lucas Bersamin on the impeachment complaint filed against Vice President Sara Duterte in the House of Representatives. Recently, the Bayan party list endorsed the impeachment complaint against the Vice President, filed by civic organizations and families of the victims of Dukhang. Some of the mentioned grounds include culpable violation of the Constitution, graft and corruption, bribery, betrayal of public trust, and other serious crimes. Bersamin said the move is a clear private citizens initiative. Malacanang will leave the process to the House of Representatives.
The president has been very clear about his position on this. So any suggestion na political yan or instigated by our side, no, that is never in the that is never true.
President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. reiterated his statement the impeachment of Vice President Sara Duterte would ultimately bring no benefit.
Right now, mahirap kaming mag-comment dyan. But alam mo, what the House of Representatives is saying is we'll let the process flow. Kami naman, what do we need to say? The President already made a clear and unambiguous statement that he would not support an effort to impeach kasi distracting. Marami tayong pangangailangan na gawin. Importante sa bayan. Ha? So, ganun dapat.
From PTV, Alan Francisco, Balitang Pambansa.
Meanwhile, Senate President Francis Escudero says the endorsement and filing of an impeachment case is a constitutional process that seeks to hold one of the highest officials of the land accountable. Because of this development, the Senate leader advised his fellow lawmakers to refrain from commenting about the allegations made in the impeachment case. He explains, if ever the case is elevated to the upper chamber, it is the senators who will serve in the impeachment court. The Senate President added the principles of justice and fairness should prevail, and to ensure all moves that will be made are anchored on the rule of law. Senate Majority Leader Francis Tolentino agrees with the statements of the Senate leader.
Unethical for us to comment on this. Yun yung aking pananaw bilang chairman ng Committee on Rules. So para po maging ethical at nakaalinsunod sa rules, ay hindi dapat po mag-comment kahit sinong senador. Kasi po, kagaya po ng, kayo po, pwede ba nyo interviewin ng RTC judge? Judge, anong gagawin nyo sa kaso? Hindi naman pwede ganon.
In related news, several House solos assured the impeachment complaint against Vice President Sara Duterte will be handled fairly and undergo the necessary process. Aside from this, lawmakers promised not to ignore other issues and concerns that would also demand their attention and appropriate action. PTV's Melales Moras tells us more.
Several lawmakers assured the impeachment complaint filed against Vice President Sara Duterte in the House of Representatives will undergo fair and due process. According to Tingog Party List Representative Jude Asidre, under the Constitution, they are mandated to act on any impeachment complaint filed before the lower house, so this move is in fulfillment of such duty under the law. Bataan 1st District Representative Geraldine Roman echoed this statement.
Rest assured na kung anumang processing, no, deliberations, they will be transparent and they will follow to the small letter, no? Due process will be followed.
Kailangan mabigyan natin ng panson, issue na mahalaga sa taong bayan sa ngayon, pero hindi rin natin kailangan talikuran ang constitutionally mandated, ang mandate ng konstitusyon sa Kongreso, sa mababang kapulungan, na aksyonan ang mga impeachment complaint.
Meanwhile, in a separate press conference, the Makabayan Bloc announced another impeachment complaint will be filed in the lower house against the Vice President within this week. According to Kabataan Party List Representative Raul Manuel, various people's organizations are in the forefront of this initiative and confident the complaint will move forward, even as some are saying it is already running out of time.
Well, tingin ko dahil December 18 pa yung last day ng session ng House of Representatives, ako optimistic ako na merong sapat na panahon, tapos merong time pa before the campaign period, kasi ang session ng Congress magre-resume po siya by January 13 after nung holiday break. So, ibig sabihin, may ganong panahon pa para sa mga senador na upuan din talaga ang impeachment complaint na ipo-forward ng Kamara, assuming nga na, ayun, susulong siya.
From PTV Manila, Melales Moras, Balitang Pambansa.
The crusade versus corruption is universal, not endemic or germane to a select number of countries. And in the Philippine context, this crusade can only succeed with streamlining the transactions and work methods in the bureaucracy. Exactly what the President stressed in his speech to the delegates of the United Nations Convention Against Corruption and those working for and in the Philippine government, as PTV's Alan Francisco once more dwells on this report.
The war against corruption is far from over.
While the issue of corruption remains unresolved, President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. is actively implementing measures to combat it. During the 5th State Conference of the United Nations Convention Against Corruption, Implementation and Review, the President underscored the importance of public service with integrity under the vision of Bagong Pilipinas.
We must shift away from merely enforcing compliance with laws, rules, and regulations to steering our people towards the practice of integrity in their daily lives. Integrity that is rooted in katapatan, malasakit, pakikipagkapwa, and bayanihan. These need to be reinforced and sustained.
To build a government rooted in integrity and accountability, President Marcos signed the new Government Procurement Act, which mandates the use of electronic systems for the procurement of goods and services. This initiative aims to streamline processes and reduce opportunities for corruption.
This shall be used by procuring entities, suppliers, manufacturers, distributors, contractors, consultants, and service providers to further increase efficiency, improve compliance, minimize the risk of corruption, reduce paper usage, and create a more detailed audit trail.
The administration has already enhanced the Electronic Freedom of Information platform to promote transparency. Through this platform, detailed information on government projects and programs is made publicly accessible, allowing citizens to stay informed and engage. And to push for a broader reform, earlier today, the Philippines reaffirmed its commitment to UNCAC by issuing a manifesto focused on integrity, transparency, and accountability. The manifesto outlines a clear goal to fulfill, develop, and improve policies and strategies aimed at eliminating corruption, which demonstrates the Marcos Jr.'s administration's steadfast dedication to fostering good governance and restoring public trust.
We continue to collaborate on the international front, emphasizing the importance of global partnerships in combating corruption. By learning from and working with other nations, we strengthen our anti-corruption mechanisms while reaffirming our place as a proactive member of the global community. Together, these interconnected efforts form a united approach to fostering a government that is efficient, accountable, and reflective of a nation committed to placing honor and integrity over self-interest.
For PTV, Alan Francisco, Balitang Pambansa.
The designation of the Philippines as this year's host for the fund responding to loss and damage is much appreciated by the government, which seeks to have a permanent office base in the country. PTV's Melales Moras tells us more on the president getting his audience up to speed on the relevance of the Loss and Damage Fund to the country in this report.
As a nation considered highly vulnerable to climate change, President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. emphasized the importance of the Fund for Responding to Loss and Damage, or FRLD, in addressing the impacts of changing weather patterns and disasters affecting the country. In 2023, the Loss and Damage Fund Board was established during the United Nations Climate Change Conference to mobilize funds and provide financial assistance to countries suffering from climate change-related damages. This year, the Philippines is hosting the Loss and Damage Fund Board. During the courtesy call of FRLD members to President Marcos Jr. yesterday, he expressed the government's efforts to establish an FRLD office in the country. The president highlighted the critical role of the Loss and Damage Fund in rebuilding damaged infrastructure and supporting disaster victims. The timing of this initiative is particularly relevant after 6 consecutive typhoons struck the country beginning in late October up to the 3rd week of last month. From 2003 to 2022, the climate crisis caused damage amounting to $100.91 billion in the Philippines alone. It is expected the guidelines for the utilization of the Loss and Damage Fund intended for countries most affected by climate change will be finalized before the year ends. Simultaneously, the government is intensifying efforts to protect the environment and mitigate the threats of climate change. For 2024, the budget allocation for climate change-related programs, activities, and projects will increase to 457 billion pesos or close to $500 billion. From PTV Manila, Melales Moras with Clazel Pordilla, Balitang Pambansa.
President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. instructed the Department of Health, or DOH, to promote healthier food choices as part of a unified government effort to address malnutrition and stunting. The chief executive emphasized the need to educate people in eating healthier foods. He also wants the agency to focus on the 34 priority areas of the Philippine Plan for Action for Nutrition, or PPAN, with the highest rates of stunting and malnutrition. Additionally, President Marcos Jr. directed the DOH and other relevant government agencies to strengthen efforts through the National Nutrition Council, or NNC, in addressing the country's triple burden of malnutrition, which refers to undernutrition, micronutrient deficiency, and overnutrition.
The Department of Agriculture was also there because they have to make sure that the food for nutrition will be available.
The Development Budget Coordination Committee, or DBCC, has revised its economic growth targets for 2024 to 2028. According to Philippine News Agency's report, the economic growth target for this year was revised to 6 to 6.5% from the previous 6 to 7%. Meanwhile, the economic growth forecast for 2025 to 2028 has been adjusted to a broader range of 6 to 8%. Budget Secretary and DBCC Chairperson Amena Pangandaman affirmed the government's commitment to Philippine Developmental Plan or PDP 2023 to 2028, emphasizing the prioritization of infrastructure, ease of doing business, and national competitiveness to drive economic growth and achieve the targets.
On the other news, the Russian attack submarine spotted in Philippine waters near the coast of Mindoro over the weekend had 2 accompanying vessels with it before and when the sub was spotted and then eventually escorted by Philippine Coast Guard vessels. This latest episode of detection of the Russian sub underscores the country's patrol ships and air defense systems capability. PTV's Patrick De Jesus tells us more.
Aside from the Russian-attacked submarine, the Philippine Navy confirmed that a rescue tanker and another support vessel accompanied it. According to the Navy, these vessels were about 8 to 10 nautical miles away from the submarine, which was first detected 80 nautical miles off Cape Calavite in Occidental Mindoro on November 28. The support vessels also reportedly responded to radio communication. The Navy is considering several reasons why the Russian submarine surfaced while passing through the West Philippine Sea.
The context of the situation is most likely they were there to receive fuel, to charge their batteries, in as much as a Kilo class is a diesel-electric submarine, or probably to do some minor repairs for whatever derangement they incurred.
On Sunday, December 1, the Russian submarine exited the Philippines' exclusive economic zone, monitored by BRP Jose Rizal and a Philippine Navy aircraft. Based on coordination, the submarine was going back to Vladivostok, Russia, after training with the Royal Malaysian Navy in Malaysia. The Navy admitted they were initially surprised by the passage of the submarine, marking the first time such an event occurred in the country's EEZ. They emphasized that the submarine was detected using the armed forces' capabilities, a feat praised by an expert.
Yes, it is the first time. Hence our surprise, our alarm, why there was a submarine in our EEZ. Previously, we have had submarines conduct port calls, but these had all the diplomatic clearances and arrangements prior to their arrival. For this time, I would like to highlight it was the first time we spotted one, and we were able to respond using our own capabilities.
Nag-improve talaga yung capabilities ng Navy. Wala namang negative implication yung pagdaan niya kasi daanan naman talaga yung ng lahat ng uri ng barko yung area na yun.
The Philippine Navy continues to enhance its capabilities, aiming for additional equipment to improve underwater monitoring and anti-submarine warfare.
The submarine program, hindi naman siya namatay. It's now at the Department of National Defense level. We have submitted proposals for 2 more corvettes, I believe, or 2 more frigates. These are modern warfare ships that could conduct the 4 domains of warfare.
From the People's Television Network, Patrick De Jesus, Balitang Pambansa.
Coming right up, DPWH holding a Bagong Pilipinas Town Hall meeting and infrastructure summit.
Picturesque sights and gastronomic delights are featured in the Suri-Suri Sugbo Southern Heritage Trail in Cebu. These and more stories after some important reminders.
Maliban sa hirap na dulot ng mahal na presyo ng binhi, peste, at pagdaan ng mga kalamidad, isa sa mga pangamba na kinakaharap ng ating mga magsasaka ay ang kawalan ng seguridad sa pagmamay-ari tungkol sa kanilang lupang sinasaka. Isa sa mga nakaramdam na kailangang aksyonan ng isyung ito ay si Mang Alex Monciano. Ang pangunahing hanap buhay ni Mang Alex ay ang pagtatanim ng mga puno ng lansones, niyog at saging. Ayon sa kanya,
ang pagsasaka simula pa nung pagkabata namin, kasi ang mga magulang po namin mga magsasaka na talaga.
Sa kabila nito, batid pa rin ni Mang Alex ang hirap na wala silang individual na titulo na pwedeng panghawakan.
Ay hindi man sa iyo yan, kundi ito yung sa akin, ito yung ganito. Magkakagulo pa kasing magkakapatid kung kayo magkakapatid.
Mabuti na lamang ang kagawaran ng reformang pansakahan ay naglunsad ng isang proyekto upang mapagtibay pa ang seguridad sa pagmamay-ari ng lupa ng ating mga magsasaka. Kaya naman malaki ang pasasalamat ni Mang Alex sa DAR at sa administrasyon ni Pangulong Ferdinand Marcos sapagkat nagkaroon ang mga kagaya niya ng pagkakataong mapaunlad ang kanilang mga lupang sakahan.
This is not a cruise ship. Nobody gets pampered. So imagine my surprise.
Chief Officer Jasmine reporting, Captain.
Container ships are tough assignments. You sail with monster cargoes and killer waves. You navigate using lights, depth charts, instruments, and instincts, all at the same time. You always want the best. And I remembered. She is from the Philippines.
You did a great job, Jasmine. Captain Jasmine.
I am Captain Jasmine. I am the Philippines.
The infrastructure's key role in boosting connectivity, economic growth, and resilience was stressed during the DPWH Bagong Pilipinas Town Hall Meeting and Infrastructure Summit. Aldrin Malyari from the Philippine Information Agency Sentro Luzon has more.
The Philippine Institute of Civil Engineers, or PICE, and the Philippine Chamber of Commerce and Industry, or PCCI, underscore the importance of infrastructure development in building a better and more resilient Central Luzon. During the Bagong Pilipinas Town Hall Meeting and Infrastructure Summit of the DPWH, PICE Central Luzon Regional Coordinator Levitico Esguerra Jr. lauded the agency for being at the forefront of transforming the physical, economic, and environmental landscape of Central Luzon.
Through its strategic infrastructure projects and programs, the department has significantly enhanced accessibility across the region's 7 provinces, fostering seamless connectivity between urban centers and rural communities.
For her part, PCCI North Luzon Regional Governor Cristina Tuzon highlighted the business sector's recognition of infrastructure as a key driver of development and competitiveness.
Tuzon said it is important to have good infrastructure to transport our agricultural products as it enhances economic growth, boosts productivity, and improves the quality of life for every Filipino. From the Philippine Information Agency Central Luzon, Aldrin Malyari for Balitang Pambansa.
Giving us good vibes, hundreds of tourists joined the Suroy-Suroy Cebu Southern Heritage Trail. This is a major tourism initiative of Cebu Provincial Government showcasing the unique culture, customs, and traditions of Cebuanos. Philippine Information Agency Central Visayas, Josette Antista tells us more.
A total of 350 local and foreign visitors were treated to scenic destinations, culinary delights, and heritage sites in the Suroy-Suroy Cebu Southern Heritage Trail in Cebu last weekend. The 3-day tour took stops in 22 municipalities in southern Cebu. Visitors were captivated by the spectacular views and attractions, native delicacies, and the diverse culture and history with fascinating cultural performances. The Suroy-Suroy Cebu program is a major tourism initiative of the Cebu Provincial Government under Governor Gwendolyn Garcia.
What will make them come is our unique heritage, our unique culture, our customs and traditions. Kay kana atong maangkon Subuanon kini. As we continue to lead the way, as we continue to give life to the President himself words, President Bongbong Marcos has repeated it, time and again. Once again, Cebu leads for the rest of the country to follow. Then, let us fulfill those kind words from our President. Let's make him proud. Let's make the country proud.
The program started in 2005 and has been effective in promoting Cebu's local tourism industry. From the Philippine Information Agency Central Visayas, Josette Antista, Balitang Pambansa.
The Department of Labor and Employment, or DOLE, announced 10 regional tripartite wage and productivity boards, or RTWPBs, have approved daily minimum wage increases for private sector workers. These boards cover regions such as the National Capital Region, Ilocos, Cagayan Valley, and Western Visayas. 4 of the boards also approved wage hikes for domestic workers. 6 RTWPBs, including those in Bicol, Davao, and Caraga, have not yet issued wage orders. The Bicol board delayed its review due to damage from Tropical Storm Christine, while other regions are still in the process of determining new wages. DOLE is working to improve wages for both private and domestic workers.
President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. honored former Senator Santa Nina Tila Rasul regarding her as a trailblazer for equality and empowerment following her passing on November 28 at the age of 94. He expressed his condolences, acknowledging the profound loss felt by her family and the nation. Rasul, the first Muslim Filipino senator, was celebrated for breaking barriers through her legislative work. President Marcos Jr. highlighted her transformative contributions, particularly in championing equality and empowerment for marginalized communities. The president emphasized Rasul's advocacy for women's rights, especially in the military, and how she inspired Filipinos from underrepresented sectors to believe in their potential. Her legacy was described as one of wisdom, grace, and integrity. He expressed hope her family would find comfort in knowing her extraordinary life and contributions would be forever remembered, leaving a lasting impact on the nation and its people.
And that concludes our rundown of the latest, widest, and most comprehensive news and information from all across the nation. From Radyo Pilipinas, I'm Joe Fernandez.
This is your trusted news source, always ready to inform and serve the Filipino people. Catch Balitang Pambansa again tomorrow at 7 a.m., 12 noon, 6 p.m., and 9:30 p.m. for more updates and developments. From Radyo Pilipinas, I'm Princess Abiba Saripoldak, and this is
Balitang Pambansa.